Thanks again for joining, everybody. This is Danny Zavala, your host on the Rec Center podcast. Today, I got a special guest. I got a gal by the name of Delcie Proffitt. She's a Wenatchee local. She's very actively involved in the community. And we're going to be discussing her journey, her lifelong journey within health and wellness and outdoor recreation. Delcie, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Danny. I'm super excited to be here and super excited to talk about all of this stuff.
Yeah, and I got a question. I always like to start off the podcast with a $1 million question. And since I know you work at Mission Ridge, what is your favorite run on the mountain?
Oh, wow.
I know that's out of left field. I'd like to do a surprise question every now and then.
Oh, that is, my goodness. So Mission Ridge is my favorite place on earth, which I have my own little hashtag I started, hashtag MFPOE. And I love to take pictures and share things. I would have to say that just, that comfort run, there's some exciting runs, but my comfort run is probably Sunspot down to Chair 3 Road, over to Tokatai, down Tokatai, all the way to Midway. Yeah. And I know it's super simple, but that's my comfort run. Sometimes I'll go top of Kewah, cut through the trees, and then Tokatai when I get over to Chair 3.
And I feel like you got to have those go-to runs where you're just like, you're in your zone, you know where to make the cuts, where you can have fun with it. So I'll have to put that one down on my list.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, everybody, so Delcie Proffitt, like I mentioned, she's a community member, actively involved. Her health and wellness nickname is AKA D-Pro, by the way, D-Pro 2.0. But let's just talk about where you're born, where you're raised. Just a quick snippet of your background, Delcie.
So I grew up here in East Wenatchee. I've been there since I was 1. 2 days before I turned 1. Our family moved out here from Ohio. So really, I've been here forever. My mom was from here. So born in Ohio, but raised since I was 1 year old in East Wenatchee and graduated from Eastmont High School.
Okay, awesome. And I heard that you were a WVC alumni as well. Is that right?
Yes. So after high school, I loved school. I loved everything about it. So graduated from Eastmont, and then it was natural to go to Wenatchee Valley College. I played softball at Wenatchee Valley College. I was a catcher. And for 2 years, when we had, awesome softball program. We used to have a football program back then too, which was great. And then I was a student body president my second year out there. So the first year on student senate, freshman representative, second year student body president. So yes, loved school, loved everything about the Wenatchee Valley.
That's awesome. That's like a full circle right there. Because now, this is a Wenatchee Valley College podcast. And here we are interviewing the student body president, whatever year that you served at, that's awesome. So that's really cool. So in my position at Wenatchee Valley College, I work for Campus Life, and Campus Life works really close with Student Senate. So my boss is Aaron Tofty, and we engage with Student Senate quite often. So that's pretty cool to hear that. And then you also went to Central Washington University, right?
I did. Before I went to Central, I actually did a semester at Washington State University in their wildland recreation program. So it was pretty fun. We learned how to build trail using the clinometer and, where you go for switchbacks to make it so it's difficult, but not too difficult for the average hiker. Learned that and had a overnight camping trip to learn all about that. And also a trip down the Snake River in a raft.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. But I was only down there a semester and actually finished up at Central with the outdoor rec degree. So that put you in a position to run, kids camps or hotel motel. Just there's a whole myriad of things that you can do with that type of a degree. Yeah,
that's awesome. So I went to Central Washington University as well, and I know that outdoor recreation program pretty well. It's really well known, and they have a lot of really cool activities that you can do through the outdoor rec program as a student, and it's led by those individuals that are part of the outdoor recreation program. So that's really, really neat. And so you also work. So tell me a little bit about your job position, your title. So what you're currently doing now. So you got a degree in outdoor recreation, and you also got a master's in education. Is that correct?
Yes. So like I said, I like school.
Yeah.
So I just kept going back. after the first stint after the first degree in outdoor recreation, I actually got a job at Thousand Trails as the recreation coordinator.
Oh, wow.
And did that for a little while, but my heart and soul was in the outdoors, and I worked for the Forest Service, so I went back to firefighting for a while. So
Wow.
that just kind of pulled me away, tromping around the woods.
That's a hard job.
It was hard. It was fun, but it was a hard job.
Yeah.
So I eventually went back to school and got an elementary education degree and student teaching and all that. But instead of teaching traditionally in the schools, I got a job at Central Washington Hospital as the community health educator. So I did that for a while, where teachers would actually call me to come into the classroom and do sessions on bicycle rodeos for kids, basically injury prevention and safety. And I would take a vacuum packed brain with me and talk about helmets. And so there's lots of education for being active in the outdoors, truly.
Wow, and that's like right up your alley.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was, I've been a ski patroller for a long time, so it was that education piece and the injury prevention piece, first aid piece, kind of married together. So instead of teaching traditionally in the school, I taught, but more community-wide.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, I feel like that's a perfect position for you, just from hearing your background, very involved in outdoor recreation, involved in a lot of sports, has a passion for education, and then you just marry the two together and you have that degree you had that position that you were doing.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It was a really great job. I was at the hospital for quite some time.
Wow. No, that's awesome. And then, so after the hospital, did you transition to a different role?
I had a couple different roles at the hospital. The last one was a Kaizen promotion specialist. So basically just helping the organizational development team integrate some process improvement. And yeah, it was it was a good job, very fun. And then on the weekends and nights, I would still ski patrol.
That's awesome. And now currently you're working at Mission Ridge, correct?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Typically it's been, just seasonal and working on the ski patrol. But this year, since we're putting a new lift in, it's full-time year-round. I'm the assistant patrol director. This will be my second year in that role. And then we are putting in a new chair. And so we've got folks working up there 7 days a week right now and getting ready for the season.
I'm really excited for that Chair 2 lift. And I heard there's a lot of new exciting updates. Chair 2 is getting updated. You do some live updates from Mission Ridge. Not only that, you're going to make some building improvements as well. Can you kind of dig a little bit deeper on what that's going to be like?
Yeah, sure. We have actually been trying to document this whole process, snippets, but with time-lapse video and just, pictures of what's going on and video of what's going on. And so we've had episodes of On the Way Up. That's what it's called. And it's just to keep everybody informed of what it looks like and what's happening up there, because it's so exciting. And actually today, episode 5 is dropping. So if people want to see what's going on, they can check out, missionridge.com and also our Facebook page, our Instagram, and see On the Way Up. And I'm fortunate enough to get to help narrate and show everybody what's going on, because again, that is my favorite place on earth. And this bubble chair is going to be sweet. So we have a brand new terminal at Midway, that's the bottom station for Chair 2, and a new terminal at the top. You will enter the chair, you'll get on the chair inside of a building, and that's also, the building's big enough to house all the bubble chairs at night, and so they'll stay out of the elements. And then when you get to the top of the mountain, you'll actually get off the chair inside of a building and then ski out of a garage door.
Wow. I'm just going to say that one of my favorite places here in Wenatchee is just Midway. Just hanging out. The food is great. The community is awesome. And especially on a bluebird day, you really can't beat it. When you're hanging out outside, you have a cold beverage, you're hanging out, you have a nice chili dog in hand, and you're making a run. It's euphoria to me. I mean, it's one of my special spots. So I understand why you love Mission Ridge so much.
Right. Yeah, it actually just gave me goosebumps when you were saying all of that, Danny, because it's awesome to be able to ski, but part of that too is the experience of other people who are like-minded, who love the outdoors, love to ski, or they love to snowboard, they like to hike out, they just love that outdoors environment and active. And then there's a whole sense of community, and you know, we're mountain folk, right? And it's just, there's just something about it. It keeps drawing you back.
I think you nailed it just on the spot, is connecting with those like-minded individuals. So I'm fairly new at snow sports. I started skiing about 3 years ago, and I started over at Mission Ridge. And you know, being in your mid-20s, learning how to ski is like baby on ice. It wasn't that beautiful. I wasn't very gracious with it, but I stuck with it. And my only regret is I wish I would have started like 20 years ago, just because I had been missing out on such a key component of winter. You know, it's just like, I think getting involved with skiing and snowboarding and some of those snow sports, it really just completes the entire year, where a lot of people don't look forward to the winter. I look forward to the winter now. So that's really cool. I'm excited that you're a part of, you know, Mission Ridge and doing some cool stuff.
So Danny, I want to add on to that. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I didn't start skiing till I was 20.
That's right. Wow.
So it's never too late. You know, we're going to talk about a few other things that we don't have to just say, oh, I'm too old for that. I started skiing when I was 20, and it was awesome. And I was frustrated at first because I knew more than I could do, but I just kept at it, just like you did. You just keep at it. Yeah. And if skiing or snowboarding isn't your thing, snowshoeing around this area is fabulous. Up in Leavenworth, skate skiing or cross-country skiing, there's so many ways that instead of dreading winter, you can get outside. It really just takes the right clothes. That's all. And you can do any of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, you know, that just solidifies my point on why you're on the show, is that you just have a serious passion towards outdoor recreation, health and wellness. And I wanted to just touch base on some of the things that we talked about earlier in the pre-interview, was how you got not only involved into Mission Ridge and snowboarding, but your passion for running, because that happened at a later stage in your life, where all of a sudden it was just like a switch turned on. I want to highlight that because I feel like it's so awesome. And I feel like it's the reason, it's one way that you could really motivate a bunch of people out there.
So I used to not run. I would only run around the bases. I love playing softball. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I was pretty fast, right? But it's a sprint, and it's around the bases after you just, you know, tag it, right? Just nail the ball and just go. When I fought fire, also, we did a lot of PT, and we would run, and it was not my favorite thing. I had one of my crew bosses, he's like, don't you want to get better? And I was like, no. And this is back in my 20s. I was like, no, I'm only running because you're making me run. I mean, I'll do push-ups and pull-ups and all that, but running wasn't my thing. So 7 years ago, I had quite a shock. And so I'm not afraid to, you know, I'm not afraid to say how old I am. So when I was 45, my life changed, and I was no longer married. And I don't know, there's something switched, and instead of taking to, you know, alcohol or other things, I started to run. And I just, not very fast, obviously, but I would set myself up for, I started hanging out with Run Wenatchee a lot. Can't say enough about that group. So there's other like-minded people. You just know, you see them, they're so encouraging. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to go far, but you know there's a group of people that you can count on every single week that encourage you. And you can earn a t-shirt, or so I just started running after I got divorced. A couple of years after that, my father passed away, and my father was not in very good health for most of his, you know, the last 10 years of his life. And that was also a switch to say, it's never too late to start taking care of yourself and to make sure that you're going to be around for a while. So I would sign up for half marathons or 10Ks at first. Let's be real. And then a half marathon. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to put it out there. And so for my 50th birthday, I said, I'm going to do a marathon. So I did.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And thanks for sharing about, you know, the divorce and your father passing. those are some huge moments in your life. And I know sometimes it might be hard to say something like that, but the way that you triggered and funneled all of your frustrations, maybe they were frustrations, towards running and just making yourself better is truly amazing. I feel like hopefully other people out there are getting inspired just hearing your story. And I want to talk about just the half marathon, or not the half marathon, excuse me, but the marathon. It wasn't just a marathon, wasn't it? Like some marathon in Scotland?
It was called the Loch Ness Marathon. And I'd had a lifelong dream, or a bucket list item, I guess. I'm not afraid. Why not? A bucket list, something that you've always thought about doing. And I've always wanted to go to Scotland and Ireland, and I happened to look it up, and there just happened to be the Loch Ness Marathon very close to my 50th birthday. And so I said, well, if I sign up for that, I guess I have to go. So I did. It wasn't fast, but boy, it was fun. Little signs along the way, a wee bit hilly, and bagpipes playing at the end. I mean, I don't necessarily need to do another one, but I am so glad that I did that one.
And I think the most amazing part about this is that you were 50.
Yeah.
You were 50 and you're just like, you know what? My 50th birthday, I'm going to do something amazing. Usually when people turn 50, they go out to a nice dinner. They might take a nice little beach vacation, go to Hawaii. You're at half a century and you feel like you deserve it. No, you said, you know what? I'm going to go run for 26 plus miles in a foreign country.
Yes.
There's
something about that too, because now I'm signed up for, even though it's not on my birthday this year, because my birthday's just next month, and I actually have signed up for a half marathon in Joshua Tree in early November.
Wow.
Yes, at night.
Oh man, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're still actively running. You're still keeping up on your fitness, and that kind of leads me to my next question. So you've already done some amazing things. You're an avid runner, and in outdoor recreation. Has there ever been like a setback in that career where it's really kind of pushed you back and I guess really kind of changed your routine or your life?
Let's see. There's been some times where I haven't been able to squeeze it in and I miss it, but that marathon was in September, and in July I was playing slow pitch softball with the co-ed league, and I pulled my hamstring in July, and I was not able to run for 3 weeks, and I was pretty stressed out.
What was going on through your mind?
I just thought, I'm going to walk. I'll be walking this thing. Or what if it doesn't get better? I was really stressed, and I called upon my friend, Jason Jablonski, who has set coaching in town. And I just said, what do I do? And he's like, you have to rest it, which is super hard to do for people who love to just be active, whether it's riding a bike or running or, anything, hiking. So that was one of the biggest setbacks. So, but I made it through it.
And I think you mentioned this earlier, but you pulled your hamstring and it was 8 weeks before the race. So, okay, I'm a health and fitness guy, so I understand how the body works. Most of the times when you injure yourself, you have to rest at least 6 weeks. That's the proper recovery time. You had 8 weeks to run a marathon. So just think about that. Not only does your body have to recover itself and re-heal that muscle and all the damage that's already been done, but then you have to retrain it, strengthen it, and allow it to perform at optimal levels for 26 plus miles.
Right. That's
crazy.
And I have to say, I think the only reason why I was able to do it is because, you keep saying I'm a runner. Yes, but I don't run as much as most people who consider themselves, runners. I love to run, and I try to do it multiple times a week, but I never got up into the big miles. I took the route of cross training.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hiking, and I was riding my mountain bike and riding my road bike, and also doing body combat. So I was doing all of these other things and not just running. I never got over 15 miles in a long run. And I think that actually helped, having that just all around fitness.
Most definitely. And I'm not going to get too scientific with it, but you know what happens for avid runners is if you have a flaw in your stride pattern, you create those muscular imbalances, which those muscular imbalances may lead to a chronic injury over time. And the plus of being a well-rounded athlete in the sense of doing body combat, cycling, doing some hiking, as you actually minimize the amount of muscular imbalances that you actually have, and you become more well-rounded and I guess just your body functions at optimal levels and it's in harmony.
Right.
So
Right.
that's pretty cool. Man, all these are huge accomplishments, and that injury, I just can't believe that you recovered the way that you did and performed over in Scotland, during that marathon. And not only that, but now you have another half marathon scheduled for November. So it's really amazing, and I just love your passion for outdoor recreation and running. And I was actually thinking about this, but you're also a combat body instructor. So now you're influencing others. So not only are you just running for your own personal benefit, but you're also bringing others with you and basically bringing them on that journey that you succeeded in, which I think it's amazing. And I just got to ask you, so what is your day-to-day motivation? What fuels that fire? Because I feel like, with Mission Ridge, you're out in the community, you're very optimistic in the sense of, your goals and your ambitions. What is that fire that keeps you going?
Wow, that's that's a really good question, Jamie. So all of those things that I do, I love to do, but I love to do them with people and for people. I guess I want to steward this vessel that I've been blessed with. I've been blessed with health and strength, and if I don't use that for good, then that's really too bad. And I can't use it for the most good that I can without taking good care of it. So I think that that's part of it. It's like some days you get up and you just don't, or you work a 10-hour day at the Ridge, working manual labor, working hard, and you get home and you don't really feel like it. But just like, if I don't, it's going to be harder to do those things that are really important and pull people along with me. Like ski patrolling, I got to be able to take a person down if they get hurt. And so I have to stay strong in order to do that, right? So in order to be a good example too, in order to ski well, I've got to keep everything strong and the energy up. And in order to do that, you have to fuel the body well and you have to train it well. And I think that that's the spark. It's just like, you always feel better after a workout, you always do. And just to say, I want to keep doing all of those things. And I know if to do that and to keep encouraging other people, I have to be an example. Not have to, but I want to. I want to be that example. So that's that trigger. It's just like, you're only as good as your last workout, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing how you mentioned it too, but you're a true leader through health and fitness and outdoor recreation and everything you do. So I just want to congratulate you on doing that and taking people with you, just because a lot of the times people just do it for their own personal benefit. And I could say that myself, at times I do it for my personal benefit, but you legitimately bringing that arm out and bringing others with you. And not only that, serving others through your health and fitness, through ski patrol. I mean, saving people's lives out there. That's truly amazing. So I'm really happy that we got you on the show. And one of the things that I like to end the show with is if somebody wanted to, get out there and just start moving, and that's something that you do, you have the energy, you have the passion. What are some educational resources here locally or maybe nationally that you can point them towards that have really helped you? I know you mentioned Wenatchee. Are there any organizations that you just feel passionate about?
Yes, we are so lucky here. We're so lucky.
Amen to that.
Right? So I would recommend, of course, Run Wenatchee. They're doing their runs virtually now, but they have check-ins, so you have that accountability. And again, you don't even have to run. It can be a walk. So Run Wenatchee, TREAD, which is a new nonprofit organization. It stands for Trails, Recreation, Education, Advocacy, and Development. And TREAD has just launched an app on your phone. You can figure out where to go, how to go, why to go, no matter what it is, equestrian trails, ORV trails, hiking trails, running trails, biking trails, all of it. So they are in touch with all the land managers and outdoor recreation managers,
Wow.
and people are putting good information on that for people who want to get started. Chelan Douglas Land Trust, who help with all of our trail systems around the valley. And really, even if you were to walk into one of our sports shops and say, I've never ridden a mountain bike before or a bike, you're going to get a lot of help. We have such a strong, tight-knit community. There's even a group of gals that they don't have an official name, but they have been doing beginner, like just group rides for women on mountain bikes. And then there's a wonderful gal, Stephanie Cosina, who has Ready, Set, Run, which is another running group that I've run with those ladies too. And they just, no matter where you're at, they meet you where you're at and encourage you. So we have a lot around here.
Wow. I feel like I learned so much just from that small, 2-minute window of you just educating everybody else. Like, you're so intertwined with the community. You have the connections, you have the network. So if anybody has any questions, D-Pro, can they email you? Can they reach out to you?
Oh, sure. I'd love it.
All right. We're going to put D-Pro's email down below on the link. So make sure to reach out to her if you want to stay connected, here in the community, or if you have any questions about Mission Ridge. She's your gal. Let me tell you, she is killing it in all different ways. Anyways, Delcie, at this time, I just want to thank you for joining us on the Rec Center podcast. It was amazing to hear your story.